Forget everything you know about the Bears in 2025. As you breathe, 3 bombs are exploding into the team's future. A rookie cornerback vanished for a reason that'll leave you astounded. A backfield on the brink with just 1 man standing, and an offensive line decision exposing this management's Achilles heel. This is red alert. Bears Nation. Caleb Williams is at risk. Playoff dreams are slipping away, and Ryan Poles is backed into a corner because of mistakes no one's talking about. Want to know why 2025 might turn into a nightmare before the week 1 snap? Don't miss a second. Is the missing cornerback tied to pre-draft scandals? Why is the Bears' most vital RB1 injury away from an apocalypse? And the explosive change in the O-line leaving Caleb Williams exposed. Only here will you find out how these 3 crisis points connect, and why today is your last chance to sign up and not miss the breakdown that'll shake Hallis Hall. Like now, hit the bell, and hold your breath, because the most important highlight of the year comes next. What do you think happens when a rookie cornerback just disappears in the middle of the season? I'll tell you this. Zar Frasier, our 5th round pick from UTSA, won't play a single down in 2025. And it's not an injury, folks. It's something much more complicated than that. Let's start from the beginning. This guy was our secret hope. At 25, older than most rookies, but only with 1 season as a starter in college. You know why? Because before that, he was playing lower levels of college football. His journey to the NFL was completely unconventional. When the Bears selected him, everyone was surprised. 6'3", 40-yard dash in 4.36 seconds. Those numbers just don't lie. Scouts saw something special in him during pre-draft workouts. He was the kind of athlete you pick late hoping to find a diamond in the rough. Ryan Poles finally broke silence on this situation that was leaving everyone questioning. Listen to this. We've identified the root cause and are supporting him through this period. Root cause? What the heck does that mean? I think we're talking about serious personal issues that predate his NFL arrival. But here's what's more concerning. Poles described the situation as complicated and emphasized it's unrelated to football. It makes me wonder, did we know about these problems before the draft? Was our due diligence sufficient? I ask you, how do you draft a guy in the 5th round without knowing such serious issues? And you know what's wild? The Bears will keep him in the organization, attending meetings, training in the gym, working with the medical staff. It's as if they're prepping him for 2026. But I ask you, is this investment worth it when we have so many needs now? Think about it. While Frasier is out dealing with personal issues, our secondary remains with the same issues as always. Jaylon Johnson left in free agency. We have holes in coverage, and one of our draft bets just can't contribute. It's too frustrating. But there's another side here. If the Bears are investing so much time and resources in keeping Frasier engaged during 2025, maybe they see a potential we don't fully understand yet. Maybe this year of development is exactly what he needs to arrive in 2026 fully ready. What bothers me most is the lack of transparency. Personal issues before the NFL could mean anything. Legal issues, mental health problems, family situations. Fans deserve more information, especially when we're talking about a draft pick who won't contribute anything this season. While we're missing a cornerback, guess what's happening with our backfield? DeAndre Swift is practically carrying the team on his back because we simply don't have anyone else healthy to run the ball. And that's a much bigger problem than you. Think, Bears Nation. Let's analyze this situation calmly because it shows exactly where Ryan Poles failed in roster building. At the start of the offseason, we all thought the backfield was sorted. We had Swift as the main guy, Kyle Monangai as a physical complement, Roshan Johnson for short yardage situations, and Travis Homer for special teams and depth. Kyle Monangai was supposed to be our second running back, that physical guy who would complement Swift's speed. Ryan Poles himself said his vision, sensitivity, the physicality he has to run with the ball, balance on contact. 2 different styles, right? Swift being the breakout threat, or Monangai being the power runner. But guess what? Monangai's out with soft tissue injury since the preseason game against the Bills. And when I say soft tissue injury, I'm talking those annoying injuries that can last weeks or even months depending on severity. Poles said he'll be fine, but can we trust that? I'll tell you this. On Tuesday, Swift had to take every handoff. In practice, Picture this. Caleb Williams taking a snap, handing the ball to Swift, and then Williams having to snap again because there's no one else to practice plays with. When Swift needed rest, you know who stepped in? DJ Moore, or a member of the coaching staff. A wide receiver playing running back because we have no one else available. It's embarrassing for an NFL organization. Imagine if this leaks to other teams. They'll know exactly how to attack our defense, knowing we have zero depth in the backfield. Roshan Johnson, out since August 7th with a foot injury. And it's not just any foot injury. Apparently, it's serious enough to keep him out for weeks. Johnson wasn't the most talented running back in the world, but at least he was a warm body who could give a few carries in specific situations. Travis Homer? At least 4 weeks on injured reserve. This guy was mainly important for special teams, but also served as emergency backup. Now, we don't even have that. Is it disastrous management of the position or just bad luck? I think Poles completely underestimated the importance of having depth in the backfield. While other teams have 3-4 running backs on the roster, we're completely dependent on a single player. Ben Johnson is trying to be optimistic, saying Swift has the ability to be a driving force. And he said something that caught my attention, especially when we're a bit stagnant at the start. He wants to be that guy to put us back on the right track. This shows that Johnson plans to use Swift as the offense's engine, that guy who'll carry the team when things get tough. But I ask you, do you think a running back can handle that load alone for an entire season? Remember what happened to Swift last year. He had those explosive plays against the Commanders and Chiefs, but also games where he just disappeared. Running backs need compliments, need someone to share carries and keep the legs fresh. And there's another problem. If Swift gets injured, what happens? Do we put DJ Moore in the backfield? Sign someone from another team's practice squad? The situation is so precarious, we don't even have a decent plan B. Johnson mentioned they might re-sign Britton Brown or Ian Wheeler for the practice squad, but that's pure desperation. We're talking about guys who couldn't even make the main roster, and now we're going to depend on them as saviors. The most frustrating part is that Swift is clearly trying to do more than he should. Johnson said he was willing to duck down and find a way to gain yards, which means Swift is taking on power running responsibilities that aren't necessarily his forte. Eric Bieniemy is doing an incredible job as running backs coach, and Swift praised his work a lot. He's just very smart, and very detailed with his teachings. But even the best coach in the world can't work miracles with only one healthy running back. And now comes the disappointment many of you didn't want to hear. Ozzy Trapilo lost the battle to be our starting left tackle. The fan favorite, our second-round hope, was moved to right tackle, and Braxton Jones continues as starter by default. Let's be honest here. This position battle was one of the biggest stories of training camp, and we all had sky-high expectations. 3 players vying for the spot: veteran Braxton Jones, rookie Ozzy Trapilo, and rookie Kieran Amegaji. From the beginning, Trapilo was the fan favorite. Second-round pick, impressive athleticism, college football pedigree suggesting he could be our future left tackle. When we drafted him, everyone thought, finally, we're solving the left tackle. But I tell you this, the reality of the NFL is very different from fan expectations. Ryan Poles explained everything on Tuesday, and listen closely to what he said about the rookie barrier. No matter how talented you are, replacing an established veteran is never easy. Jones might not be Penei Sewell, but he's been solid for 3 consecutive years. He knows the system, has chemistry with Caleb Williams, and knows exactly what Ben Johnson expects of him. That counts for a lot in such a critical position as left tackle. Trapilo, on the other hand, is coming from a completely different college system. He played right tackle in college, and transitioning to left tackle in the NFL is like learning a new position. The steps are different, the technique is different, even the angle of blocks is different. There's also another factor many fans don't consider: the psychological pressure. Left tackle in the NFL is one of the hardest positions in all American sports. You're protecting the quarterback's blind side, dealing with the most talented pass rushers in the world, and any mistake can result in a sack, a fumble, or worse, a QB injury. Putting a rookie in that position, even as a second-round pick, is a huge risk, especially when we have a young quarterback like Caleb Williams who needs consistent protection to develop properly. I tell you this, some fans created unrealistic expectations with this second-round pick. They expected him to come in and take Jones's place immediately, but the reality of the NFL is different. How many second-round offensive linemen can be immediate starters? It's very rare. The decision to move Trapilo to right tackle makes strategic sense. First is the position he played in college, so he'll feel more comfortable there. Second, right tackle is still an important position, but without the extreme pressure of left tackle. Third, he can develop gradually without the pressure of protecting the quarterback's blind side. Ben Johnson hasn't officially named the starter for Week 1, but everyone knows it'll be Jones. It's a pragmatic decision based on experience and consistency, not necessarily pure potential. What really worries me is what happened with Kieran Amigaji. He quickly disappeared from the position battle and was replaced by undrafted free agent Theo Benedette. For a guy who was our third draft pick to be out of the race so quickly, something's not right. Amigaji had injury problems during college, and maybe those issues still affect him. Or perhaps he's simply not up to the NFL level yet. Either way, having 2 draft picks struggling on the offensive line and neither able to be immediate starters raises questions about our draft strategy. The question is, did we make the right choice in the draft? We invested a second rounder in a guy who can't even take Braxton Jones' spot? Or are we being too impatient? I think his development in 2025 will determine whether Poles was right or wrong in that decision. But there's a silver lining in all this. Trapilo will use 2025 to fully develop. He can gain strength, improve his technique, study Johnson's offensive system, and prepare for a future starting spot. Sometimes, a year of development is exactly what a young player needs. And think of it this way. If Jones gets injured or has a poor season, Trapilo will be ready to step in. If he develops well at right tackle, he might even become our future right tackle starter. It's not necessarily a total loss. Now I'll connect these 3 situations so you understand the big picture of the Bears in 2025. What we have here is an organization going through typical growing pains of a rebuild, but with some questionable decisions that could cost us dearly. Zar Frasier's situation shows that maybe our draft due diligence isn't as good as we thought. How do you select a 5th-round player without fully knowing his background? It raises questions about our scouting department and player evaluation process. The backfield crisis demonstrates a lack of depth planning. Poles built a position relying on few players, and now that injuries have hit, we're completely exposed. It's the kind of mistake well-managed teams don't make. The Trapilo situation reveals unrealistic expectations versus NFL reality. Fans expected him to be an immediate starter, but offensive line development takes time. Maybe the fault isn't the player or organization, but our exaggerated expectations. What worries me most is how these situations may affect our competitive ceiling in 2025. We have Caleb Williams entering his 2nd year, a crucial moment for development. He needs consistent protection on the offensive line, a reliable running game, and a defense that doesn't rely on rookies with personal issues. Look what we have here, Bears Nation. A rookie cornerback disappearing due to mysterious personal issues, a backfield utterly shattered by injuries and poor management, and a position battle that ended exactly as most expected but still leaves many questions in the air. Do you think Zar Frasier comes back stronger in 2026? Or was this a wasted pick showing issues in our scouting process? And Swift carrying the team alone. Do you really believe he can handle that pressure for 17 games plus playoffs? And Trapilo being moved to right tackle, was it the right decision, or should we be worried about our offensive line's development? But there are more questions we need to ask. Is Ryan Poles making the right decisions for this team to compete in 2025? Can Ben Johnson assemble an efficient offense with his personnel limitations? And most importantly, will Caleb Williams have the support needed to take the next step in his development? Listen. This season is going to be an emotional roller coaster for all of us who bleed navy blue and orange. Each Poles decision, each injury, each development will directly impact our playoff dreams. We're at a crucial moment for the franchise, where decisions made now will determine if we're legitimate contenders or if we need more time to rebuild. What frustrates me most is seeing that we have pieces to compete, but small details like backfield depth and rookies development could be the difference between a successful season and another disappointment. That's what separates elite organizations from mediocre teams, the ability to anticipate problems and have ready solutions. Do you want to keep following every Bears move with me? Then subscribe to the channel right now and hit the bell, because I'll be here every day bringing the latest news, the deepest analysis, and the most honest opinions about our team. I won't spare anyone when things go wrong, but I'll also give credit where it's due. This family of Bears fans is growing every day, and I want you to be part of this community that doesn't accept mediocrity. Leave that like if you agree we need more depth in the backfield. Comment below your opinion about Tropailo's future, and if you think Poles is doing a good job. And share this video with every Bears fan you know. Because one thing I guarantee you, the 2025 season will be definitive for this franchise's future. Either we take the next step to become a consistent playoff team, or we return for a few more years of rebuilding. And I'll be here to analyze each move, each decision, each play that can define our destiny. Together we are stronger. Together we are Bears Nation. See you in the next video with more Bears bombs. Bear down!